Recommending 2 furlough days for all employees of the school district. For exempt employees as teachers and administrators, if they aren't called furloughs, but they operate the same way, they're short-term layoffs for 2 days, I would save approximately $85,000. I'm recommending 3 fewer days of school. By statute, we have to schedule 180 school days with children. However, parent-teacher conference days can count as school days with children. By moving 3 days to parent-teacher conferences, we would actually have children in attendance on 177 days, meaning that we would have 3 fewer days with buses and potentially aides. That could save us approximately $25,000. The downside is that we do have to hold 175 days with children in attendance. So if we have more than 2 snow days next year, we would have to make those up. Strongly recommended items.
Can we ask
Yes,
questions
you
on
can ask questions on please.
the wage freeze?
Yes.
Generally, we don't start negotiation talks until the school year has started.
That's
Do we
correct.
anticipate having to do that for that year?
No. We could. I don't anticipate starting until at least after the governor's budget is released and voted on, and we know what the real numbers are for next year. And as we go through this, you'll find that my numbers will add up to a little more than $750,000 to $850,000. The reason for that is I'm not sure that we can get, for example, number 1. Items that we strongly recommend. We have 2 people retiring in our special ed department. Through some work and some flexibility on our teachers' parts, we believe that we would have to replace a half of a position there. Basically move one of our half-time employees to full-time status. And so we could reduce that by $67,000. One of the reasons that you see not as big a reduction in special education, if we reduce the number of special education teachers as regular education teachers, is because special education gets special aid from the state, and we won't receive that now. So the reduction is less. We're recommending that we don't fully replace 2 high school retirees. We have a language arts teacher retiring and a science teacher retiring that we're recommending not be replaced. We believe that, again, through some flexibility in our teachers and ability to do some alternative scheduling, we can save $131,000 in that area. We're recommending reducing 1 custodian. We anticipate a custodial retirement. We would not replace that. However, we would have to hire somebody back in to haul lunches. Approximately 3.5 hours a day. That's what one of our custodians does. However, we can charge the hauling of lunches to food service, and we believe we can make up the money in food service. Reducing the alternative school to half-time. Presently, the alternative school is a full-day program. But however, it operates in the morning for some students and in the afternoon for some students. Our enrollment, we're in a consortium with Northwoods, Birchwood, and Shell Lake for this alternative school. We believe that we can make it just a half-a-day program and accommodate all the students. That would reduce our costs to that by about $25,000.
If we're part of consort, do we have to get their approval on that, or do we?
Thank you. We would have to get everybody's approval on that, but I believe we can do that. I've started to enter into conversations, and it's run through CISA. I think we can do that one.
Can we go back up to the not replacing the high school retirees?
Yes.
Is this talking about changing the schedule, or we're not talking about changing the block system
No,
yet?
we are not. We're trying. One of the goals that we entered into was to try to not change the block system at the high school not change the middle school concept at the middle school and retain SAGE at the elementary school, and then disrupt as few other areas as possible. So you'll see that we're trying. So no, we can maintain the block schedule and maintain most of our courses. There will be some reductions, obviously, in the number of courses that we offer here and there. We're recommending the elimination of one administrative position, saving approximately $100,000. We're recommending the reduction of one PE position. That would be done through one of our teachers that is retiring. So still we have another $60,000 there. Under other recommendations, this would be a layoff, eliminating the middle school tech ed / computer position. What we would have to do, we need to offer tech ed in 7th and 8th grade. We would reduce actually the tech ed at the high school by about 1/3 of a position and have that person do 7th and 8th grade middle school tech ed. The computer positions would be taken over by middle school teachers. There is no specific certification needed for computers, so we can fill that in with able people and be able to do that.
Do we need specific computer classes, or can it be taught within a language arts class or a social studies class? Can you get computer requirements that way?
You can, but not well. We have a curriculum that we just started a few years ago that we like and really need to stick with. There are specific computer competencies that students have to meet, and we would have a hard time meeting them even if it were integrated fully into the curriculum. Recommending reducing 1/2 Spanish position. Again, this would mostly impact the high school, as we do have to offer Spanish in 7th and 8th grade. It may impact some of the upper level Spanish courses that we offer. That would also be a layoff, half the time. Right? Number 3, reduce the virtual school by 1/3. Presently, we have a virtual school teacher coordinator, but due to a retirement at the middle school in music and social studies, we can move our virtual school person to cover up for the music and not have to hire somebody back for that position. So it ends up being a reduction in virtual school by 1/3. The savings, however, come out of the middle school social studies / music position that's retired.
We have to have someone in the virtual school office. I mean, the kids
No,
go
they
in
wouldn't
there.
be in there all day, so it would change the scheduling of the virtual school. However, students can take some courses in other locations. We could assign a student, for example, to the media center as long as we have media center coverage at that time. They wouldn't get quite the service, be able to answer questions that they have right then, but we can make it work. Recommending reducing 1/2 of a secretary. Right now we are reduced by 1/2 a secretary. We are operating okay, and we think we can keep operating that way. When Sandy Mackey retired, we didn't fully replace her, and we can feel that we can keep operating that way. Number 5 up there is reduce occupational therapy and physical therapy. That's a contract that we have with CISA. We are in the process of contracting those independently in cooperation with some other school districts and the local hospital possibly, but we believe we can reduce that by at least $20,000. Number 6 is reduce 2 bus routes. As our enrollment has declined, we need to keep looking at reducing bus routes.